Yep, you're all over. Yeah, we're 11 o'clock call. I was on it, yeah. I left a little early. I have Amanda Bailey sitting on it right now, so. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and again, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. My name is Callie Berkson, and I'm part of the communications team here at the City of Grand Junction. I just want to take a minute today and quickly tell the community thank you. Over the past couple of weeks, we've heard and seen numerous stories of generosity and people helping and pitching in where they can. Giving when you can, staying home when you should, and we just want you all to know that this certainly makes a big difference and we appreciate what you are doing. As a city, we continue to work with our community partners to bring you answers and resources that you may need during this time. If you are tuning in on Facebook, we will not be answering questions live today, just like we have done in the past. However, if you have questions, we do encourage you to put them in the comments below, and we will answer them individually and as best as we can. For the media, there will be breakout sessions after this briefing. Today, I'm joined by City Manager Greg Kane and Incident Commander Police Chief Doug Shoemaker. Also joining us here today are Mayor Rick Taggart, Grand Junction Parks and Recreation, and Colorado Parks and Wildlife. At this time, I'll pass things over to City Manager Greg Kane, who will begin our briefing.
Thank you, Callie, and welcome everyone to this briefing. We've had so much interest in our beautiful outdoor space, as many of us have been staying home per the order, and that's wonderful for people to follow that, and very important. But also people have been able to get out and recreate in our wonderful parks and open space, keeping the social distancing. So we wanted to bring you experts today to discuss more of that and what they're looking for and how you can comply with the order in that regards. But to start us off, the mayor for Grand Junction, Mayor Rick Taggart.
Thanks, Greg. Today I'd just like to talk a little bit about tomorrow night. We have a city council meeting. And for those of you that don't know this, we have not been encouraging people to come to the auditorium, but that doesn't mean that we don't want your comments. So you can do comments to us one of two ways. You can actually call in to the council number and leave a message, and that number is 244-1508, and you can leave a message, or you can go to our website and go to the COVID-19 banner, and you'll find a place that you can write in comments, and we sincerely would appreciate any comments that you have. On the agenda tomorrow night, as a part of the state of emergency, is an item that we're going to discuss, all of us as council members, and it has to do with two elements that we'd like to add to the emergency side of things. One is, in fact, a temporary jobs program for 90-day jobs for individuals within the community that find themselves displaced. And a second is a program that we are developing for nonprofits, particularly the nonprofits that are focused on basic elements for our community, that being the need for food in some cases, and the need for shelter. And we're going to be talking about that and the monies that we're setting aside for that particular program if it passes through City Council tomorrow evening. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And now we have our Incident Commander, Police Chief Doug Shoemaker.
Okay, thanks, Greg, and thanks again to everybody for tuning in today. I want to kind of reiterate something Callie mentioned earlier when she began the briefing, is the positive things that have come out of this, and we really believe a lot of people within the community are truly listening to the stay-at-home order and doing the good things. So for those of you that are and helping us with that, we really appreciate that, more than words can say. I will say there are a few things I want to touch on today, including questions about how we're enforcing the stay-at-home order and things of that nature. So just as a reminder, both our agency and a number of other area law enforcement agencies have put out media releases specifically stating we are not asking for papers. If we stop people for something, it's for a traffic violation or some other reason that's legal, but we are not asking for specific papers in terms of ensuring where you're going is in fact someplace that you have to be. We're really relying on the public to do the right thing. And that education piece is something that we want your help with. So please comply with that as best as you can to make sure that we're all safe. Remember, right now we are safer at home, but for those necessary things that you need to go take care of, then by all means take care of those in the appropriate manner. We talked a little bit earlier this week, or late last week, I think, about scams, and those are certainly a thing this time of year as any time of year. And of course, we all know that opportunities bring out sometimes the worst in people as well. So suspicious emails, suspicious phone calls, asking for your personal information, particularly a date of birth, social security number, bank number, account number, those types of things. Those aren't real, so don't respond to those. There are, of course, there's a lot of discussion with federal checks and things of that nature, so there are a lot of people taking advantage of that. So what I would ask you to do is just please rely on the appropriate federal or state resources to get the information, not from spoof emails or spam type emails. Lastly, and as I always like to do, and kind of on a positive note, obviously from a first responder perspective, I do want to assure all of you out there that we are looking to make sure that we take care of our own first responders, the men and women who serve in the fire and police and EMS world, who respond to the calls for service on a routine basis. So we've taken steps to make sure we have the appropriate personal protective gear for them, including masks and so on and so forth. And while they're off duty, we're encouraging them to take care of themselves. And that self-care issue is certainly an important piece to make sure that we're in this to do everything we possibly can in the best way possible. So when you see us patrolling or responding to calls, just remember that we're out there trying to protect you. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you, Chief. And as always, our partners at Mesa County Public Health, Dr. Jeff Kerr.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate the opportunity as always and the partnership with the city. So this morning we had 2 additional cases of COVID-19, so now we're up to a total of 14. And of those, 3 are from unknown sources. So we've defined sustained community transmission of the point in which we get to 5 cases with unknown sources, so we're starting to get there right now. Once we do, things will change slightly because certainly it's widespread in the community at some point, so the communications ramp up a little bit, and so we'll, as part of that, our messaging to you at home. We did put something on our website starting today. It's called a symptom tracker, because we know that we can't test everyone. In fact, we have such a shortage of supplies that we're not testing, hardly anyone at all unless you have symptoms. But so we want you to go out. If you have symptoms for this, go out to our website and tell us about it. There are a few questions that we'd like for you to answer. That will help us better monitor what the impact of that is in Mesa County. It's not different than what we do during influenza season. So we have places at local physicians' offices and the hospitals that we call influenza-like illness or sentinel sites. This will be very similar. So based off of symptoms, we'd like to get a better idea of what the impact is in Mesa County. So please go out to our website. It's health.mesacounty.us, and at the top banner, it's just called the symptom tracker. So I encourage everyone or anyone that is feeling symptoms and maybe discouraged about not being able to be tested, at least you could go there and we could count you in that way. So thanks everybody, and thanks again to the City of Grand Junction.
Thank you, Jeff. Now, as we mentioned in the beginning, we'll transition to our Parks and Recreation, as so many people have had that cabin fever because they've been abiding by the stay-at-home order. I have been able to utilize our great open space. Is vast here in the Western Slope, and so we have a wonderful structured park system here within the City of Grand Junction. So to talk a little bit about that is our Parks and Recreation Director for the City of Grand Junction, Ken Sherbino.
Thank you, Manager Caton. So again, I'm Ken Sherbino, Parks and Rec Director for the City of Grand Junction. And like all services and operations within our community, the Parks and Recreation system has been impacted by COVID-19. We really work to try to balance the need to combat the spread of the virus while still providing services that promote the quality of life that we are so accustomed here to enjoying in the Grand Valley. our 36 city parks, along with our over 20 miles of trails, in addition to our over 900 acres of open space, still remain open. We have bathroom facilities at a lot of those parks, 20 in total. We have ramped up the cleaning of those facilities to now 3 times per day, so we're disinfecting those to really do our best to prevent the spread of the virus. And that's definitely a good shout out to folks that do that, all that disinfecting that happens, both our parks staff and so many around the community that have really ramped up to reduce the spread of this virus. The executive order that came out from the governor last week on March 26th did in fact also encourage people to still stay healthy and active, to get out and go walking or biking or jogging. And the park system here in the city of Grand Junction really is a great place to do that. But while you go enjoy your park system, please remember to social distance. Make sure that you're at least 6 feet away from other patrons, and that's really going to be important for us to be able to continue to offer those services. With that executive order that came out last week, there are some elements of our Parks and Recreation system that are not available currently. To comply with that executive order, we've closed playgrounds, our picnic areas, shelters, courts including basketball and handball, volleyball, pickleball, and tennis. Indoor facilities such as the Senior Recreation Center and Orchard Mesa Pool, those closed down on March 14th when we had our first case of COVID-19 here in Mesa County, and those remain closed, as well as programming through most likely May 15th is what we're telling folks at the current point in time. So please, until this passes, please respect the closures and recreate locally. There are a lot of opportunities to take advantage of great assets here in town. And if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at 254-3866, and our website is gjparksandrecreation.org. So again, we have a great system with a lot of opportunity for healthy activity, so please get out there and enjoy, but please do so within respecting the parameters that we put out. So thank you so much, and have a good day.
Thank you, Ken. Also, I wanted to remind people about 2 things within our park system. One of which is, as you start to see the beautiful spring has sprung here, the grass is coming out of the dormant season, we might not be mowing at the regularity that you have come accustomed to. And part of that is we are planning for 3 to 6 to 9 months down the road of the economic challenges that the city is going to incur, and specifically on our revenue stream. About 60% of the general fund's revenue stream comes from sales tax. And as our businesses are closed, our restaurants and sales tax generators, we're anticipating not receiving the revenue that we had anticipated for 2020. So we are already starting to make modifications in our operations, and park maintenance is one of those. As Ken referenced, we are very stringent on our health cleaning and maintaining that. But if you notice the grass maybe looking a little untidy, that's not by accident. We are making modifications to our level of service. I would also encourage residents, as you're out walking the dog, to maybe pick up what your dog is leaving behind. We have seen some emails from community members. So we really are all in this together, and do your part. And so a couple reminders there. To wrap us up today, one of our last speaker, one of our great partners at Colorado Parks and Wildlife, Pete Furman.
Okay, so for Colorado Parks and Wildlife, we've got a couple things going on right now. We're getting into our busy spring season, but then also it's starting to get into the application period for hunting licenses and things like that. So the hunting licenses, we've got an online tutorial that's going to be found at cpw.state.co.us. And then also our park offices and our wildlife offices are also open to the public, or open for phone calls. They are closed to the public in order to try to ensure that both our staff remain safe, and then also the public in terms of limiting the congregation of people in that area. But we are staffing them. They are available for phone calls, and we can walk people through this. A couple other accommodations we're trying to make to get through this process is park passes, annual park passes. They've got a 30-day extension for their expiration, so they're valid through the end of a given month, we've added 30 more days on top of that. So hopefully that gives people an opportunity to resolve things basically either through the internet, or maybe eventually we were able to open up offices. So you've got that 30-day grace period for the passes. You also have a 30-day grace period for registrations. The main thing right now is OHV registrations typically expire at the end of March. You've got a 30-day grace period beyond that, in hopes that you can either get help online, get help by making a phone call, or perhaps we're able to start opening the limited public access in our offices at that point. I don't know, but that's a possibility. Some of the other things that we've done in compliance with the governor's order is our campgrounds are closed now, but we're still open to day use. So people can come out, they can fish, they can use the riverfront trail, hike, bike, pretty much all the facilities we have, except things that are going to be designed to congregate people. So our group picnic areas, our campgrounds, the camper services building, so the showers and those flush toilets are closed, but we're trying to keep other restroom facilities open. If you're using a portalet toilet, those don't have the sanitary wipes or the hand sanitizer, so if you can get it, you're going to want to bring that yourself and just try to make sure that you're keeping as safe as possible, or perhaps just plan your travels where you go to the restroom before you leave your house and then wait until you get back. But we do have restroom facilities. We are cleaning them on a daily basis. Once again, the website, it's going to have tutorials, it's going to have further information, and then it's also going to have phone numbers to these different park offices and area offices, and that number, once again, or that email website is www.cpw.state.co.us. Okay, thanks.
Wonderful, thank you, Pete. And as we wrap up today's show, I want to thank all of the speakers for their excellent information that they've provided today. And also just a reminder to our community members that the stay-at-home order is for everyone's safety. So please abide by that. However, as you do travel out to your essential grocery shopping, things of that nature, and potentially to utilize these recreational assets that we have in our broader community, use them responsibly. And also keep your social distancing. It's just critical as we move through this health pandemic. So as always, it's my pleasure to bring this updated information to the community for the City of Grand Junction. I'm Greg Caton, the City Manager.